Welcome to our deep dive into the world of ultra-scalable system design. Today, we are exploring the blueprint of modern software, the microservice architecture. In an era where agility and scale define market leaders, the traditional monolithic approach is being replaced by distributed ecosystems. A typical microservices setup isn't just a collection of small apps. It is a sophisticated web of independent services working in harmony. Throughout this guide, we will break down the essential components, from the entry point where users interact with the system to the complex data management strategies that ensure high availability and performance. Whether you are an architect or a curious tech enthusiast, understanding this structure is key to building the next generation of digital infrastructure. To appreciate microservices, we must first look at what they replaced: the monolith. Imagine a single, massive block of code where the UI, business logic, and database access are all tightly coupled. In a monolith, if one small part breaks, the entire system might crash. Scaling is also difficult. You have to scale the whole block, even if only one function is under load. Microservices change this by breaking the application into functional units. Each unit, or service, handles one specific task, such as user management or order processing. This modularity allows developers to update, deploy, and scale individual components without affecting the rest of the system, drastically reducing downtime and increasing deployment velocity.
In a distributed system with dozens of services, how does a mobile app or web browser know where to send requests? Enter the API gateway. Think of it as the grand central station of your architecture. Instead of clients talking to every service directly, they send all requests to the gateway. The gateway handles cross-cutting concerns like authentication, rate limiting, and load balancing. It then routes the request to the appropriate internal service. This simplifies the client-side logic and adds a layer of security, ensuring that internal service addresses remain hidden from the public internet. It is the first line of defense and the primary coordinator for all incoming traffic. In a dynamic cloud environment, service instances are constantly being created and destroyed. They don't have static IP addresses. So how does Service A find Service B? This is solved by service discovery and a service registry. When a service starts up, it registers its current IP address with the registry. When another service needs to communicate with it, it queries the registry to find a healthy instance. This process is often automated by tools like Console or Kubernetes built-in DNS. Without this mechanism, a microservice environment would be impossible to manage at scale, as manual configuration of network addresses would lead to constant failures and maintenance nightmares. One of the most critical principles of microservices is database per service. In a monolith, every module shares one giant database. In microservices, each service owns its own data. For example, the inventory service might use a NoSQL database like MongoDB for flexibility, while the payment service uses a relational database like PostgreSQL for ACID compliance. This prevents tight coupling at the data layer. If the inventory database goes down, the payment service remains unaffected. While this introduces challenges like data consistency across services, it provides the ultimate level of independence and allows teams to choose the right tool for the job for every specific business function. Services need to talk to each other to fulfill complex requests. There are two primary ways to do this: synchronous and asynchronous communication. Synchronous communication usually uses REST or gRPC, where Service A waits for a response from Service B. It's simple, but can lead to bottlenecks. Asynchronous communication uses a message broker like RabbitMQ or Kafka. Here, Service A drops a message into a queue and moves on. Service B picks up the message whenever it's ready. This event-driven approach is highly scalable and resilient because it decouples the timing of the services, allowing the system to handle spikes in traffic without crashing the entire chain of dependencies. In a distributed system, failures are inevitable. If one service becomes slow, it can cause a cascading failure where all calling services get backed up waiting for it. The circuit breaker pattern prevents this. Just like an electrical circuit breaker, it monitors for failures.
If a service fails too many times, the circuit opens, and subsequent calls are immediately rejected with an error or a fallback response instead of waiting. This gives the failing service time to recover and prevents the entire system from grinding to a halt. Once the service is healthy again, the circuit closes and normal traffic resumes. This is a cornerstone of building highly available systems that can survive partial outages. When an error occurs in a monolith, the logs are in one place. In microservices, a single user request might travel through 20 different services. Finding where it failed is like looking for a needle in a haystack. This is why observability is mandatory. We use distributed tracing, like Jaeger, to assign a trace ID to every request, allowing us to see its entire journey across the network. Centralized logging, like the ELK Stack, gathers logs from all services into one searchable dashboard. Finally, metrics, like Prometheus, provide real-time data on CPU, memory, and error rates. Together, these tools give architects a god's-eye view of the system's health and performance. How do we manage the deployment of hundreds of services? The answer is containerization and orchestration. Each microservice is packaged into a container, like Docker, which includes everything the service needs to run: code, runtime, and libraries. This ensures it runs the same way on a developer's laptop as it does in production. To manage these containers, we use an orchestrator, like Kubernetes, K8s. Kubernetes handles the heavy lifting. It deploys the containers, scales them up or down based on traffic, and restarts them if they crash. This automation is what makes it possible for companies like Netflix or Amazon to deploy code thousands of times per day with minimal human intervention. Microservice architecture is more than just a trend. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about software. By breaking down complexity into manageable, independent pieces, we gain the ability to scale to millions of users, respond faster to market changes, and build more resilient systems. However, it's not a silver bullet. It introduces significant operational complexity in networking, data consistency, and monitoring. As we look forward, technologies like service mesh and serverless microservices are further refining this model. The key is to balance the power of microservices with the needs of your organization. Thank you for joining this visual guide to the backbone of modern technology.